Hello everyone. Today I am here to present seminar on Swachh Bharat Swasth Bharat Abhiyan implementation in higher centers of learning, presented by me, Mr. Ajaykumar Gandhi, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Department of Chemistry, Government College of Art and Science College, Aurangabad. The college is affiliated to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University. Let's begin. Swachh Bharat Swasth Bharat Abhiyan. This is countrywide campaign intended to eliminate open defecation and improve solid waste management system in urban and rural areas of the India. Mr. Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Das Modi, from Rajghat officially launched this campaign, this policy. On occasion of 145th birth anniversary of our beloved Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi Bapu, this scheme has been launched, and Government of India has decided to achieve this by 2019 as a befitting tribute to Bapu on his 150th birth anniversary. Behind every policy there is large amount of study. There are large number of reasons. We all will agree that a happy and healthy life is a basic instinct to humans. Without clean environment, you will not be able to imagine this very instinct. Clean environment hence utmost necessary precondition for achieving happy and healthier life. Cleanliness is actually a prevalent and socially well accepted concept even in civilization across the globe and across the times. Cleanliness in true sense is a key to physical, mental, spiritual development of any individual being, you can say, or society as a whole, nation, and ultimately it is the world who is ultimately will get benefited. In many societies, cleanliness aptly put next to the godliness, and yes, indeed it is. SBSB, that is Swachh Bharat Swasth Bharat Abhiyan. When you look at this particular campaign through Bapu's spectacles, Bapu used to say, sanitation is more important than independence. At the beginning, I find this very strange statement, how sanitation can be the most important thing or more important thing than independence. I was not able to understand or figure out what the reason behind making this statement by our beloved Bapu. When I think over it, then I realize I need to correlate sanitation with the cleanliness to physical, mental and spiritual development, and ultimately I reached to this conclusion. Yes, Bapu wisely said that yes, indeed, sanitation is far more important than independence, because having independence to the citizen or to the nation, with all these physical, mental issues, you can say, inside the country with the countrymen, that country will not able to survive for the long with his independence, and he will not be benefited with the independence, or the very reason of independence will not get served then. So I think that it is really wisely said by Bapu that sanitation is really far more important thing than the independence. Gandhian philosophy says, and also we find in their literature or books on the Gandhi, that Bapuji always keep cleanliness and sanitation at above top of the all priorities in his life, like truthliness and other some Gandhian philosophies he kept throughout his life at the top priorities. Health has taken really, when you look at when any government look at the society, or when any government running the nation, there are some ground realities one should not ignore, because that will never that will never help any government to develop the own country into a better nation. So when you look at the ground realities in India as a nation or in Indian society, health has taken a backseat in developing India. Indeed, it is. In Corona situation, you can well correlate this statement that indeed health system is really at the verge of destruction because of this Corona pandemic. So indeed, in a developing country like India, health has taken a back seat. We have to take health as we have to understand the why to prioritize health over other things, why to prioritize education over other things. So this is the ground reality, which is also behind behind launching this particular campaign. We will, as we go on, go forward in this particular seminar, as we progress, you will get to know that why this health and this cleanliness and other nation building, some better nations are correlated things. One another thing is that poor sanitation. Yes, India, there are a lot bad community practices which really affect health of individual beings and society. Poor sanitation is one of that, and you can say these are correlated things, or this is implies an implied bad thing, that lack of availability of potable water scarcity is one another issue, with or without which you just can't think proper sanitation facilities. So poor sanitation is also one more thing. And these are the things, along with some addictive things like alcoholism, drug abusing, and smoking. These are the issues which really at the root cause of most of the health problems in Indian youth. So these are some ground realities. One should not ignore them. Having insight of these ground realities, understanding the core issues and problems to better extent, I think we can frame strategies to develop into a better society or better nation. Whatever the reason behind having all these issues and these things, but you may agree or disagree with all the issues we so far discussed in last slide. But I'm sure that you will agree that whenever you find certain cleanliness and neatness in your immediate environment, that thing just cheers up one's mood and mindset, and really this help you to enhance your working efficiency. That's everyone's experience, that when you find cleanliness and neatness in your family, from your mother or from your spouse, then you find that you have better working efficiency, and ultimately this very unknowingly actually this leads to the holistic and sustainable growth of the nation. This you have to think very neatly, that how individuals working efficiency enhancement ultimately leads to the enhancement or you can say sustainable growth of the nation. You can on your own think about this, and you can come to this conclusion as I reach to this conclusion. So I believe that the culture, or government believes that the culture of cleanliness and hygienic practices need to be communicated properly first, and then once you get successfully when these things successfully get communicated to our society, this is very easy to inculcate these things amongst the youth. So our government's goal from this very campaign is to communicate this cleanliness, purpose behind this, and to make society to inculcate all these habits or good habits into among themselves and among youth. Because the youth only of the India that going to be contribute to the large extent to the growth of the nation. So this is what the very background for the launching of this particular campaign in India. this campaign actually ended last year in 2019 only on 2nd October as it was intended and it was planned. But we being having such a large country at the focus, I think 5 years plan is not sufficient for this. You have to extend this to little extent or little some more years we have to spend on this particular campaign. Then to some extent we will be able to achieve some success. So this scheme not officially but unofficially have to continue, and it is in fact it is continuing. When we are saying that we need to communicate this particular scheme and campaign to youth of the nation, the large fraction of the youth is involved in higher learning centers like universities and colleges. The age group of these very peoples, like these very citizens, is such that they are enough mature to understand what government want to implement, and they are enough able to think on their own how important it is and what steps they should take. So you can say that actually colleges and even universities in our in Indian society are treated like temples. Indeed, they are temples, and the students and the stakeholders involved therein really play a nice role, or you can say largely contributing role in successfully implementing this particular campaign. As I said that the age group of the people who are in colleges and universities are really impressionable age group, and this is really a best platform for imbibing values, so that these group peoples are tomorrow's citizens, and they are only going to contribute to develop a better nation. So government also think, and everyone logically can say that this is the right and the best platform to to come up with this particular and to successfully implement this particular campaign in higher learning centers. So yes, government took that cognizance, and government also thinks the same way, and his government is trying to implement this. Government try to utilize this this platform, colleges and universities, as higher centers for learning. When you come to implementation of this particular campaign, there are two approaches and two levels where this particular scheme can be implemented. First is structural approach at government's level. It is where government is going to do on his end to successfully implement this. He will take necessary step, provision funds and like this thing. But not government alone can do can work out this on his alone. We citizens, we fellow countrymen need to contribute, and we are really important stakeholder of this particular campaign. Our contribution only going to decide whether this very campaign will get success or not. So another approach or another paradigm for this is individual moralistic approach. That is our fellow citizens level it is. As we go on next slides, as we progress in this seminar, you will come to know that government and we togetherly trying to implement this campaign successfully, so that we get the intended results out of this, or outcome out of this. तर मला असं वाटतं की साम दाम दंड नीती याच्यात थोडासा वापर शासनाला किंवा गव्हर्नमेंटला करावा लागतो, की जेणेकरून ही इम्प्लिमेंट करायला सोपं पडतं. कारण काही एलिमेंट्स सगळ्या सोसायटीमध्ये असतात की जे नाही कॉपरेट करत ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टींना. तर त्यांना म्हणजे काही एलिमेंट्स असतात की ते साऊंड असतात तितके की त्यांना समज दिली, साम दिला म्हणजे की ते समजतात. गव्हर्नमेंट त्याच्या बाजूने थोडंसं दाम म्हणजे काही अशा उपाययोजना करेल की ज्यात फायनान्शियल असिस्टन्स देऊ शकतो. बट हे करूनही कधी कधी असं होतं की काही एलिमेंट्स असे असतात की त्यांना दंड दिला किंवा त्यांना तशा पद्धतीचा समज दिल्याशिवाय त्या गोष्टी इम्प्लिमेंट करणं अवघड जातं. जर एवढ्या मोठ्या भागावरती आपल्याला ही स्कीम राबवायची असेल एवढ्या 126 करोड जनतेच्या देशामध्ये, तर दंडनीती असणं थोडंसं कुठेतरी आवश्यक पडतं, जिथे you need to focus more on the society as a large and well-being of the society as the large, and then you just have to have some penalties and some fines on citizens, taking into consideration that unless and until you have some legislation and this kind of approaches, they are not going to understand, because they will otherwise spoil the success, the contribution by others who get into this particular campaign through Sam and Dam Niti. So in Marathi I think Sam Dam दंड ही चांगल्या प्रकारे आपण समजून घेऊ शकतो की ह्या नीतीचा वापर करून आपण हे सक्सेसफुली कसं इम्प्लिमेंट करू शकतो. बट मला पुन्हा असं सांगावंसं वाटेल की साम आणि दाम या गोष्टींमध्येच आपले बरेचसे आपला बराचसा भाग या स्कीमचा इम्प्लिमेंट चांगल्या प्रकारे होऊ शकतो. दंडनीती थोड्याफार प्रमाणात आपल्याला वापरावी लागेल. देन नेक्स्ट, so we will look into these paradigms separately. So you will understand how government is doing his on his end, and how we can take benefit from this, and we also can contribute better by understanding this approach, government side approach. Okay, what this approach is, steps taken by this approach is something that these are the steps taken by government in implementing, or authority and macro level. It is at the macro level, at a gross level you can say, or at the very big platform or large platform it is. What government will do, government will frame some policies, will make some provisions, government will come up with some legislatures. So it's very important that if you have some legislature, this you get abide by this legislation, and then you have to follow the norms and this legislature said by. And some institutions also government will set up, so that can monitor all the happenings and all the steps taken by, and can monitor the progress of this particular scheme. So with these in these four ways government approach was there actually, because this scheme is now ended officially. That's why I am using past participles for all this, and I will talk many times in a present and past tense also, but believe me, this very thing we need to understand in a present tense only, then we will be able to understand in a better way. Okay, because still there is a lot scope to get implement this particular campaign in a better way. Government will ensure that government on his side will try to keep public places at least clean and neat, because the fact is that people really hesitate actually to defile already clean places. You might have experienced that when you see everything clean in a garden, you think twice and thrice, and even you don't think to spoil that particular area or defile that particular area. So this is very skillful observation made by contributors of the society, or contributors or think tanks of the Indian society, that people really, psychologists of the society you can say, that people really hesitate to defile already clean places. But Delhi Metro is an example, because Delhi Metro you can find and they are kept clean by government, and they remain clean because citizens using this metro are also taking cognizance that they will not, and they ensure that they will not from their side will defile, or they will dirtify the metros there. One more thing the government can do, government can ensure that students which are the target of this particular scheme, because they are going to be they are going to transform into a better citizens. tomorrow citizens, we can say, responsible contributors, you can say. So students can be given with some project. Government ensure that he will have some YouTube channels or some YouTube videos. There you can create awareness through those programs. Some cleanliness instructions also can be given to the students belonging to particular institutes. That institute play a role, to communicate or to work as a mediator between the government scheme and the students. And government can ensure that every institute get involved into conducting some cleanliness drives. What happened with these cleanliness drives? Students come out of their classes. They come into contact with citizens in their immediate environment, and when citizens look up to these students, what they are doing, so this is better way of this outreaching way of, you can say, from the government side to implement or to make awareness or create awareness among the citizens, with whom it is very difficult for government to interact directly. Okay, government is having his own limitation. Any government always have their own limitations, that not every end of the society government can reach. But we can play a role of institutes and students, and every stakeholder of this very institute can play a role to as a mediator between government and the policy and the citizens. So this is the case. So this also the one of the approach from the government to taking into like focusing on the students with it, which is cleanliness. Cleanliness government try to implement or trying to ask these institutes to have one course, like we already have one course on environment. So some part of environment course can be given to this cleanliness also. Some 2 or 3 credit course credit part or some marks can be allotted to this cleanliness things. And this course, if it is running in the institutes, that will be abiding, that will abide students to look into the matter somewhat seriously, that because that is going to affect their credits and their scores also. So many of the students will take cognizance of all these things. So this is one thing. And university and colleges collaboratively can come up with some scheme. If you think on your own, you also can you can also behave contribute as a think tank for this. Then what sort of schemes, these collaborative schemes and collaborative programs university and colleges can have? University can ensure the sufficient supply of the fund to the colleges, affiliated colleges, you can say. And university can also ensure through their monitoring system, their audit system, whether colleges are performing in this particular thing properly or not. So this from university side, university can do. University can arrange some awareness programs through NSS, and can make this mandatory for colleges to run such a schemes once or twice in a year, so that on a large scale, so that the very purpose of this particular campaign or the government side, whatever the scheme government want to implement, or whatever the purpose government want that gets served, will get served then. So what else government or universities can do or institutes can do? Research can be promoted in this particular area, because many things are really impossible to work out manually. Some things are there, like how to have the disposal system for e-wastes. So for that, some research need to be conducted to because researchers through their research can find out better and better ways to dispose all these dirtifying things to the nature, and they will not to the some very less extent they will if at all they are harming environment, they can to some extent minimize the harm from this particular waste materials, or to this. Or there are some research on how to keep your immediate environment clean, how to tackle with psychology of the society as a whole. I mean, how one should research can be on the topic also, that how to create videos that within a very short period of time the message that government want to convey to the people will be communicated in effective way. So research on that topic also can happen. Research can also be done that that some research can focus on how the cleanliness is related to physical, mental and spiritual development, how the group of some society get benefited. Such a kind of research also can be done, and such a research need to be funded. Unless and until you have some fund for the research, the individual beings will not come up with the idea, they will not come up with new theories and strategies to work out all these things. So research is also funding to the research is also one more thing the government is trying to approach. Yes, legislation is another thing, because unless some elements in the some nasty elements from the society are there always in every society, they are always there. So to ensure effective law enforcement, some penalties and massive fines, I'm saying, because unless and until you have massive fines for any bad deeds or any like breaking of the laws, people will not take cognizance of all these things. So fines should be such a that should be some deterrent to the lawbreaker. It is lawbreaker should think never think again to do all the nasty things, because once he get penalties and get some fine and some punishment, then this. But in a country of 126 crore people, manual observance and these things will be really tough for the government to ensure this. But yes, e-surveillance or electronic surveillance is the way out. CCTVs across the cities or across the like areas you can have. So the content, if you find that the study says that there is a decrease malpractices, or you can say crimes, when in areas where there is CCTV surveillance is effectively working, or government can use drones as well. So government is also trying to take advantage from this e-surveillance to ensure the effective law enforcement. But till this point, it is okay that government is trying on his end, but unless and until you take the citizens, because for the fellow citizens only this particular campaign is run by government. So public cooperation, once you get public cooperation in any scheme, the chances or that scheme get very neatly implemented, and the very purpose of the particular scheme get served then. So public cooperation and confidence are the things that government have to work on, and government can seek public cooperation and confidence, and effectively this scheme will be implemented, and it will be easier to achieve success for this particular scheme. For that, government have to have a structured propaganda. Then you have to have awareness machinery. Now many institutes and even government having nowadays social media platforms. They are having Facebook pages, they are having YouTube channels, Instagrams accounts and Twitter handles. So these can be the machineries government can, because many there are a large portion of the society using these platforms very frequently and very regularly on a very regular basis. So thereon government can provide some visualization and the service can be placed into them. Continuous hammering of all this need to be there. Then some purpose will get, some success will be, we can think of achieving it. sanitization program, sensitization programs and another thing. We need to sensitize, because every time you cannot you cannot make things compulsory and mandatory. Compulsiveness is something you just find everyone compulsiveness, find everyone very stressful thing. But when something come out from yourself, when you on your own think that this should happen, I should do that, I should not do that, then this become very easy to to things to happen properly. So sensitization programs is very important. Sensitization programs, the sensitization of your society is needed. You need to sensitize people about environment, forest, greenery, and many other things, like how to use wisely the resources like water, electricity, and these things. So this is also something government is trying to ensure on his end. Then government need to ensure proper waste segregation and disposal. Otherwise, from garbage from one side will be collected some other part of the city, and still the problem will remain the same. So once you collect garbages when after cleanliness programs, that garbage, that particular waste need to get segregated as it's like ola kachra, sukka kachra, e-material waste, असा जे प्रकार आहे तर त्या प्रकारात one should get segregation, and its disposal is also needed. So plastic need some different treatment. Green leftovers of vegetables will require some other treatment. So this is also something government can work out, can provide funds to find better and better ways to find disposal ways of this particular waste materials. In this you can take into you can join your public citizens into this also. You can have a scheme like senior citizens of this particular area, which usually gather in gardens and some trekking grounds and playgrounds and trekking grounds. You can take them into, you can ask them to join willingly or voluntarily to implementation of this thing. They can make their groups, and they ensure that the neatness and cleanliness in their particular area, people are following all the norms, they are not breaking. You have to provide them some authentication, like their recognition should be there, like these are the volunteers from government side or corporation side, and you have fellow citizens have to listen to them, have to inform them in case it is. So these are the things also government is trying to implement. Government have to ensure enough number of free public toilets, because that's our common experience that there are public toilets, but they charge 5 rupees, 10 rupees for using their toilet facilities. So this should not happen, because still people find that 5 rupees and 10 rupees is a big deal to share for toilet thing. So it is the case. So government trying to ensure free public toilets. One more thing, that public toilets, they themselves need to be clean properly. Otherwise, what people will think that to get relieved in an open space is far cleanly or hygienic thing than get into the public toilets. They are smelling badly, and there is no potable water there, and this thing should not be there. So this is the one thing. One more thing, that NGOs and GOs, non-governmental organizations, some governmental organizations can join hands together, and they can bring success to this particular campaign. Sulabh International Toilets, you might have heard about, achieved a great success. This is nothing but NGO, GO collaborative thing it is. Corporate social responsibility. This is something we know very well, from where government seeks financial support from this corporate sector. Yes, financial support is also important thing that this corporate sector contributing. But instead, government can try that, ask these companies and corporate sector to adopt villages and particular blocks around them, or areas around them, like in MIDC areas around them, to ensure that there the cleanliness practices are, community is following hygienic practices. There are enough toilets. There is no defecation in open spaces. This is something they can ensure. They can provide funds and so financial support to build public toilets in this particular area, or they can provide some finance for the disposal and segregation. They can provide some like dustbin kind of thing they can provide. So I'm giving examples, but these things government trying to this. So these are the things from corporate sector also we can take into, and we can ask to join hands for this particular campaign, and government thinking the same way. So this is then another approach is the individualistic, like I as a citizen, or me as a citizen, how I can contribute for the successful implementation of this scheme or campaign. Government, or what you have to do, or what you can do, whatever the thing you are doing for your immediate environment cleanliness, you can make video. This what is the intent behind this? That waving and sharing inspiring stories, something very good thing, that when a normal a ordinary citizen doing on his own, like एकला चालो रे, एकटाच तो काहीतरी एखाद्या गोष्टीबद्दल काम करतोय, आणि अशा जर व्हिडिओ जर आपण बनवल्यात, तर असे काही मानसिकता असते आपली की मी एकटाच करतोय, त्याला सपोर्ट मिळणार नाही, थोडासा भीती त्या गोष्टीची असते. बट असा जर एखादा इंडिव्हिज्युअल जर असं काही करत असेल, तर त्याने त्याचा एक छोटासा व्हिडिओ बनवावा, सोशल मीडियावर तो व्हायरल करावा, जेणेकरून सगळ्यांना एक सपोर्ट येतं की आपल्यासारखा कोणीतरी विचार करणार आहे, आपणही एकला चालो रे प्रमाणे काही करू शकतो का. तर असं काही वेबिंग आणि शेअरिंग इन्स्पायरिंग स्टोरीज असाव्यात. अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड त्या असू शकतात. म्हणजे जपानमधल्या स्टोरीज खूप फेमस आहेत की तिथली लोक कसे कॉपरेशनमध्ये क्लीनलीनेस ठेवतात, कसं स्वच्छता बाळगतात. तर जपान एक चांगलं उदाहरण जगासमोर असतं नेहमी, आणि तिथले व्हिडिओज पण खूपदा आपण बघतोय. त्याचप्रमाणे आपण एखादा व्हिडिओ असाही बनवू शकतो की ज्याच्यामध्ये लेगिस्लेशनचं इम्प्लिमेंटेशन कसं स्ट्रॉंगली होतं आहे, आणि ते कसं पेनफुल होईल जर रूल्स पाळत नसाल तर. असा एखादा व्हिडिओही मला असं वाटतं थोडासा निगेटिव्ह होईल, बट त्याने एक मला असं वाटतं की मेसेज सिटिझन्सपर्यंत जाईल, की लॉ ब्रेकिंग लोकांपर्यंत जाईल, म्हणजे त्यांच्यापर्यंत आपल्याला त्यांना काही असं डिटरंट एक्सपिरियन्स येतील ते एखाद्या लॉच्या. असं होणार नाही. आपण ते इन्शुअर करू शकतो की लॉचा एन्फोर्समेंट तर होईलच, बट कमीत कमी पार्ट ऑफ द सोसायटी विल गेट हार्म फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिक्युलर लेजिस्लेशन. काही प्रॅक्टिसेस, काही कंट्रीब्युशन्स पण तुम्ही टाकू शकता. काही एखादे स्लोगन्स वगैरे असतात, कॅची स्लोगन्स तुम्ही टाकू शकतात की ज्याने एक इंट्रिन्सिक मोटिवेशन लोकांमध्ये येईल. Motivate people to come up with unique excellence. This is also one thing, that you come up with some ideas, that like a blend of some lifestyle and cleanliness. You just make a video, or you just write blogs on this, that how cleanliness and cleanliness lifestyle I inculcate in me, and how health benefits I'm getting, and how now I'm excelling on individual level in my particular area. This can be the thing. Inspiring people to keep their houses, then surroundings and community clean with the same attitude of belongingness. भारत माझा देश आहे. मी 10वीच्या वर्गात असताना एक धडा होता, भारत माझा देश आहे. माझा असं म्हणताना आपण त्या गोष्टीची काळजी अगदी जीवाच्या निशी घेतो. म्हणजे आपण अगदी आपलं असल्यासारखं जर एखादी गोष्ट असेल, आपलेपणा त्या गोष्टीमध्ये असेल, आपल्याला आपुलकी असेल, तर आपण त्या गोष्टीची काळजी घेतो. जसं आपण आपल्या घराची काळजी घेतो, तर आपण आपल्या इमिजिएट एन्व्हायरमेंटची तशीच काळजी घेतली पाहिजे. आपला कचरा शेजारी नेऊन टाकणं किंवा समोरच्या डम्पिंग ग्राउंडवरती टाकण्यापेक्षा त्याचं काही डिस्पोजल होऊ शकतं का, आणि जेणेकरून डम्पिंग ग्राउंड कमीत कमी साईजचा असेल आणि कमीत कमी त्याच्यातून त्रास समाजाला होईल, असा जर विचार आपण करू शकत असू तर खरंच अशा स्टोरीज आपल्याला चांगल्या प्रकारे ह्या स्कीमच्या इम्प्लिमेंटेशनमध्ये फायदेशीर ठरतील. आपलेपणा आपण जनतेला तेवढं अवेअर करू शकतो की हे आपलं आहे, तर त्यावेळेस ते मला असं वाटतं की गव्हर्नमेंटला असं वाटतं की ते चांगल्या प्रकारे होऊ शकतं. पर्सनल हायजीन हेही खूप महत्त्वाची गोष्ट आहे की तुम्ही लोकांना बेनिफिट्सविषयी अवेअरनेस आणला पाहिजे किंवा याचे हार्म काय आहेत की तुम्ही पर्सनल हायजीन मेंटेन करत नसाल तर काय तुमची परफॉर्मन्स हॅम्पर होऊ शकतो, अशा गोष्टी तुम्ही करायला हव्यात. सर असं आहे या प्रकारेही. आणि पर्सनल हायजीन तुम्ही अचीव करता, तुम्ही प्रॅक्टिस करता, ते ओव्हर द नाईट होत नाही. तुम्ही सकाळी उठलात आणि आता मी हायजीन मेंटेन, त्याला एक ओव्हर द पिरियड त्या हॅबिट आपल्यामध्ये रुजतात आणि मग आपण त्या इम्प्लिमेंट करतो आणि मग त्या आपल्या कॉन्शियसली आपल्याला अगोदर त्या फॉलो कराव्या लागतात, मग त्या सबकॉन्शियसली आपल्याकडून होतात. तर असं होण्यासाठी तसेच इन्स्पायरिंग स्टोरीज आणि त्या ब्लॉग्स वगैरे रायटिंग किंवा असं प्रचार त्याचा व्हावा. आणखी गोष्ट अशी की एखादा एकला चालू रे या पद्धतीने एखादं काम करत असेल तर त्याला असं अननोटिस्ड ठेवता कामा नये, त्याला अनअप्रिसिएटेड पब्लिकली ठेवता कामा नये. त्याच्या कामाचा मोठेपणा झाला पाहिजे, त्याला त्याचं काम जगाच्या नजरेसमोर आलं पाहिजे, त्याचे व्हिडिओज बनवून ते अगदी व्हायरल झाले पाहिजेत. तुम्ही ऐकलं असेल शाह अफरोज यांनी मुंबईचे बीच क्लीनअपचा एकला चालू रेच्या तत्वावरती चालू केला होता. म्हणजे एकटाच तो यायचा, त्याला जेवढं जमेल तेवढं त्या सुट्टीच्या दिवशी. ॲक्च्युली तो बाय प्रोफेशन एक लॉयर होता, पण तो यायचा बीचवरती, तर त्याला असं वाटलं की कुणी नाही हेल्प किंवा कुठे होणार नसेल तर मी एकटा ते सुरू करतो. मग त्याला लोक जोडत गेली, इंटरनॅशनली त्याला रेकग्निशन त्याचं मिळालं, म्हणजे मोठ्या सेलिब्रिटीज त्याला येऊन जॉईन करू लागल्या आणि मग ह्याच्यातून एक मोठं कॅम्पेन उभं राहिलं आणि मुंबईचे बीचेस काही बघितलेत तर ते प्लॅस्टिक फ्री झालेत, ऑलमोस्ट प्लॅस्टिक फ्री झालेत, ॲटलिस्ट ॲपरंटली प्लॅस्टिक फ्री झालेत. अजूनही बराचसा पार्ट मला असं वाटतं की त्याचा राहिला आहे. तर अशा ज्या ॲक्शन्स असतात एकला चालवणारे लोक करतात ज्या पद्धतीनं या त्याच्या, तर त्याला अननोटीस ठेवता कामा नये. गव्हर्नमेंटनी सुद्धा त्याला ॲप्रिशिएट करावं आणि त्याला म्हणजे वाहवा किंवा गवगवा त्याचा करावा की जेणेकरून ते खूप लोकांपर्यंत पोहोचेल. आणि एकदा लोकांपर्यंत हे पोहोचलं की ह्या कामाला ॲप्रिशिएट केलं जातं अशा कामाला, की मग लोक इंडिव्हिज्युअल लेवलवरती त्यांच्या इमिजिएट एन्व्हायरमेंटमध्ये जर असं काही करता येऊ शकत असेल तर ते वो कतरेंगे नहीं, मतलब वो करेंगे, असं होऊ शकतं. कमिटेड कन्व्हिक्शन अबाउट क्लीनलीनेस, हे तुम्ही कंपल्शन करण्याऐवजी मी विलिंगली कन्व्हिक्ट झालं पाहिजे की मला क्लीनलीनेस हवं आहे, मी लॉ ब्रेक करणार नाही. कारण फाईन हा त्याच्यामागलं रिझन नाही आहे, तर हे रिझन आहे की हे लाँग टर्ममध्ये सोसायटीला चांगलं होऊ शकत नाही, माझ्या स्वतःच्या ग्रोथसाठी, सोसायटीच्या आणि नेशनच्या ग्रोथसाठी चांगलं नाही आहे. जोपर्यंत तुम्ही कंपल्शनपेक्षा कन्व्हिक्शनच्या मोडवरती सोसायटीला आणत नाही किंवा सोसायटी येत नाही, तोपर्यंत पर्पज म्हणावा तितक्या वेळेत किंवा कमी वेळेमध्ये सर्व होणार नाही. तर या प्रकारे ओके, आत्तापर्यंत आपण गव्हर्नमेंटच्या साईडनी बघितलं. आता आपण फोकस्ड ऑन UGC बिकॉज द व्हेरी टॉपिक ऑफ माय सेमिनार इज हायर एज्युकेशन सेंटर ओनली. So UGC is in a hierarchy, the you can say highest institution for the as long as higher education is considered. So and UGC only launched this on his own, Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat Abhiyan. There are some objectives on the mind of UGC, you can say. UGC objects are, there are many objects. Let's enlist them one by one. We will try to understand them. Swasth Bharat, UGC want to implement through four C's. Clean your mind. Your mind should be clean. Then you can think proper and you can take some steps to to ensure something to implement on your own, to yourself, your family or immediate environment, your society, city, life. You have to clean your mind first, then clean your body. Self-hygiene is very important thing. Then your immediate environment, you can say. Then you can think of, then when you clean your mind, you clean your body, and ultimately your immediate environment get clean. And unknowingly, very unknowingly, your society, you find that is now a clean place. So really, cleaning of these at these four levels, one by one, is very important thing that UGC understand. And indeed, it is our logical experience also. To create support public healthcare system, this UGC can ensure through research. Then what are the ways that we can have in like box type sanitation facilities, or mobile sanitation vehicles, mobile urination and defecation vehicles are also there. So these are the ideas of think. This is something come out the think tank in UGC only, or we learn professionals only. Research creative ideas, yet monetary non-monetary assistance. UGC can ensure through government. UGC actually something is mediator between institutes which are actually going to work on the ground and government. So through UGC, government can properly channelize monetary funds, some financial assistance and these things. And these are the things like this UGC can work in this. UGC ensure that through some programs, through seminar, workshops, some curriculum designing, that it can inculcate the norms of clean and healthy living among the youth. Because in UGC, as long as UGC, the large part among the stakeholders are the students, and students once get motivated, communicated, and then motivated intrinsically, they inculcate these things. Ultimately, they will ensure these things in their houses, in their home, and in their immediate environment. So this is something need to be done from UGC think. UGC put this object that we are going to ensure that these very habits of cleanliness and hygienic practices get inculcated among students, among youth, to create awareness about responsibility to live healthy and keeping environment clean for sustainable growth and development. This is something you need to communicate properly. You need to make students think on their own. You have to supply some data to them that they will they read that data, they understand the data, and they themselves understand how important it is to keep environment clean for the sustainable growth and development of individual, or a society, or a city, or a state, or and the nation as a whole, or you can say world as a whole. So this is also something UGC are trying to ensure, and so in an object the thing is placed. Create an understanding and awareness on these issues within community. So through curriculums, through some programs, workshop, funding such programs, UGC can ensure that awareness is, some awareness among the individuals is there, society is there. UGC, because this is something that fosters health promotion and protection measures some lifestyle diseases, like some obesity is a lifestyle disease. It is because you can see many professionals are working, sitting on a chair for 8 and 10 hours, and some heart issues, and these things are inevitable then. So these are also things when you are in some lifestyle habits, like not washing hands before eating something, before touching your nose and touching mouth, and some other areas which are potentially which will potentially damage your health. Like in corona situation, now you better understand what the hygienic practices are, how important they are. To support community, to have a holistic, you have to support community, you have to understand problems from the community point of view also. Then if they are not getting enough water for their daily usage, you just can't ask them to use WCs and like wash basins, and you just can't ask them to use toilets for defecation and urination things. You have to ensure, you have to support community, you have to ensure proper water, ensure the enough amount of water those area people are getting. Then only you can ask them to use public toilets and not to defecate in an open space. general assistance to the university and colleges to carry out some programs. This also, or to build or construct some sanitation facilities for students in the in universities and in colleges. From some amount of fund can also be utilized for these things from the UGC side. Then pocket pledge. This is, I think, the thing we all know. Because every year on a particular day we pledge that we will not dirtify our immediate environment. I personally think this is the thing that we know very well, and I think this is the only thing we practice as long as implementation of this Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat Abhiyan, as long as implementation of this campaign is considered. But this pledge should not be just a verbal thing or doing sake of doing, or this should not be. Wholeheartedly you have to take pledge, and you have to put your emotions into it, and you have to practice on ground level also. What what you say in a pledge, what you promise someone to in your pledge, that thing need to happen on ground also. You have to practice these things also. So pledge should not be something just a pledge, okay, just a verbal blah blah thing. It should not be. So and then keep everything clean. And when you read, when you go on reading this, you will come across the first word only, heart. You have to keep your heart clean, because if some other person is dirtifying environment, you have to forgive him. You have to let go things, and you have to on your own go and clean the things. You can ask that person very politely that he will not do such a things again and those things, or to follow the community rules and hygienic practices. But you have to clean your heart that time only. Once you put your heart clean, ultimately you ensure that your hostel is students. Many students in a hostel dirtify the washrooms, dirtify their window side passage, their galleries, and they're even in their rooms also. They don't find belongingness. They don't find their belongingness. They don't think that this is something I'm going to be here for some next 2-3 years, and how I should keep environment clean. So this should happen, that students also need to get aware of these things, and we need to ensure that they are keeping their hostel clean. Libraries also must be cleaned. Labs, gyms, and other public places and students usually visit, these places need to be very clean. And ultimately villages they belongs to also will get, cities they will get cleaned. Okay, this is from UGC side. Their objectives are, and if the affiliated colleges to the universities under this UGC, if they are satisfying certain conditions, like section 2F they are belonging to, and some central assistant they will get if they belongs to section 12B. If these some basic criteria the institute and the universities is coming to the following, then UGC Act will be as per UGC Act. Then UGC they are they are eligible to get some financial assistance from the this UGC. What kind of help or assistance UGC can provide? UGC can provide some financial assistance. Some amount of some money can be given to colleges, and colleges are asked to use those money in some programs. Not on some programs, but to in cleanliness drive, for example, like to buy safety hand gloves and masks while cleaning the passage when cleanliness drives are being conducted in the institutes. So this can be the thing, or to provide some refreshment to the students who are involved in the some energy drinks, and these things can be. One more thing, UGC ensure that whatever the UGC providing some general development grants, some share can be saved and utilized for this implementation of this campaign. Okay, from existing some general development grants, some portion can be utilized. If not new any or not any other financial assistance is available due to some reason, UGC can ask colleges and can permit colleges to utilize some share of the general development grants which are already sanctioned to the or already given to the colleges and institutes. So this is the thing. There are some modules on the basis which this very scheme will be implemented through UGC. Module 1 is Swachh Bharat Mohim. It is Swachh Bharat. What UGC will ensure UGC ensures that there are enough number of toilets, separate toilets for the gender, for the specific genders in university and colleges. UGC can provide some fund to construct them otherwise. UGC provides some funding for the programs through NCC, NSS and some other councils and some women cells, scout guides that will help to create awareness among the society about the Swachh Bharat mission. Okay, and some road plays can be conducted by NCC, scout guides and women cells and this NCC that will create some awareness in the society. To produce energy and manure using bio waste. So this is something also like vermicomposting, vermiculture. UGC can provide some fund to for these things to happen, because this is something needs some some amount of money to work them out, because you have to have some separate places, some arrangement you have to create there, and that requires money. So UGC trying to ensure that enough amount of money will be provided to these things also. Plantation drives can be done, so that will ensure that people find a sound environment around them, and they will try to conserve these things. Self-sustainable units through energy productions using solar panels, like rainwater harvesting, solar systems. This also can be thing. Plastic-free environment. You can provide your students. You can ask your students to use stainless steel bottles and reusable bottles, or reusable and reusable bottles. You can ask your students not to use one-time use kind of plastics. So, or you can ban use of this one plastic in environment of these institutes and universities. So people will start understanding the issues with this. Green building concept like vertical gardening, and for that seeding, like government can provide infrastructure, government can provide some orientation courses and programs, and how to turn your buildings into vertical gardens. This also can happen. That vertical garden needs irrigation, so some techniques, like some structural things, infrastructure can be ensured by government, that use this infrastructure and develop your vertical gardening. This can be waste management and recycling can be made mandatory, because in institutes there are computers and some lab instruments are there which maybe are of no use and no more now of the use, and how to now recycle them or how to dispose them. And there is in NAC guidelines also, that there are some key indicators also which focus on how you dispose your e-waste materials. Colony cleanliness and welfare, cleanly drives can happen. Medical waste in some medical colleges, pharmaceutical colleges like B.Pharm, M.Pharm colleges. So those medical waste, how to dispose them, that UGC can provide guidelines to that. Create awareness in the community through short films. That is also some. There are very motivating films there that can be provided. Use social media for that to community outreach. So social media is also the platform that government can effectively use, or UGC is supposed to. UGC thinking of using effectively. So then comes the next module, Swachh Bharat. When you ensure Swachh Bharat, it is very easy to ensure Swachh Bharat also. What you can do, You can create awareness how important is to regularly to do some physical activity or to adopt some healthy lifestyle. For example, not to use lift till fourth story till for a fourth story of the building. Use steps. Use bicycle if you are coming to institute within 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers distance. So these are the things can be implemented. Promote physical and mental health activities like yoga programs, some refreshing hours, or some stress busting or recreational facilities in the college itself, institute itself can be provided. You can on a regular or weekly basis or monthly basis can have some recreational activities in institutes. So that will mentally ensure that Swachh Bharat. You can mentally and on mental level you can ensure them. Unless and until you ensure swasthta on mental level, on physical level, and on institutional level, is not that achievable thing, that UGC thing. Awareness of the importance of the nutrition for healthy lifestyle. That is very important. Eat healthy, do some physical activity, and surely that will ensure healthy citizens, and you will better perform in your area of work, and that ultimately will contribute to the nation's building or nation's development. So that also need to create awareness about. To recognize the cultural diversity and psychomodulatory activities, that is also thing. Harmonious relationship among the citizens is very important. In India like country where the diversity it's that that large thing, that very there is a diversity in Indian society to very large extent, and we have to ensure UGC through some programs, through some workshops can ensure that that there is harmonious relationship between two religions, two creeds, and two creeds of the society. So this can be the thing. टू एकमेका सहाय्य करू अवघे धरू सुपंथ. जर आपण असं या प्रकारचा जर उक्तीचा वापर करू शकलो यामध्ये, तर स्वच्छता आणि स्वस्थ भारत हे खूप इझिली अचिवेबल गोल आपल्यासाठी होऊ शकतो. बट त्याचवेळी आपल्याला हे लक्षात घ्यायला पाहिजे की खूप वैविध्यता आहे आपल्याकडे समाजात. म्हणजे समाजात खूप जाती, धर्म, पंथ, लिंग असे आहेत, आणि त्यात बरेचसे वादही आहेत. ह्या ग्राउंड रियालिटीला इग्नोर करून चालणार नाही. बट कमीत कमी क्लॅशेस होतील. क्लॅशेस हा इन्व्हिटेबल आहेतच, बट ते कमीत कमी होतील आणि त्याचा परिणाम आपल्या हेल्थवरती, आपल्या इमिजिएट एन्व्हायरमेंट होणार नाही. आपण एवढे इन्शुअर नक्कीच करू शकतो. त्यासाठी प्रयत्न नक्की करू शकतो. त्यासाठी अवेअरनेस क्रिएट करू शकतो. काही ॲडिक्टिव्ह थिंग्स असतात, जसं ड्रग्स, टोबॅको, अल्कोहोल, त्या कशा तुमच्या हेल्थला डिस्ट्रॉईंग युअर हेल्थ, हे जर आपण अवेअरनेस क्रिएट करू शकलो तरी आपण स्वस्थ म्हणजे हेल्थ, जे वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गनायझेशनने डिफाईन केलेली हेल्थ आपण मिळवू शकतो. तर हे काही स्वस्थ भारतचे मॉडेल्स आहेत. त्यानंतर तुम्ही ऑर्गनाईज करू शकता, जसं आपण पूर्वी बोललो, काही लेक्चर्स, सेमिनार्स, टॉक्स, सम मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर्स you can invite, and these are the things on this module. This module is based on the how to communicate to these things to your students. This is only about module 2 in from Swachh Bharat implementation point of view. Implementation of the scheme, how you can implement this. The scheme will be implemented by university and colleges. Yes, UGCs, these are the stakeholders of UGC, university and colleges. Existing departments such as physical education department, they ensure the physical health of their students to encouraging them to participate in various playground games or outdoor games, you can say. Environmental science department also can help can help to ensure that there is a tree plantation program. That they can have some coursework on this particular. They can motivate their students in this through their particular course. They can design curriculum that way. Home science department is also one more department that can run some campaign or can conduct some workshops, and can on a daily on a weekly or monthly basis can give talks to their students and how to what is the nutritious food for them, to the age group they belongs to, and how to how to take a balanced diet, and having balanced diet, how you can achieve your health in all the way. Psychology departments also can play a very large, very contributing role, I can say. This UGC thinks that psychological survey of your students before implementation of this society, during the implementation of the scheme, and after the psychological survey, there whatever the outcomes, and then psychological analysis of your students' mindset, that will help policy makers to frame policies that way. So psychology department also can contribute to large extent. These are the departments really will contribute to large extent to ensure the well implementation of Swachh Bharat and Swasth Bharat, which will be you can these departments can comprise of coordinators, doctors, counselor, yoga experts, nutritionists, and psychologists. So this is how the whole Swasth Bharat Abhiyan, Swachh and Swasth Bharat Abhiyan is, and really we need to ensure this, that the scheme get really implemented, because once you get success for this, rest all the problems in Indian society will automatically have very less harmful effects, or maybe you can say will be not that bad situation we will go into, or they will no more be difficult to achieve. Then these are some references you can go. These are some references and further readings. You can use them, and you can find how government is implementing through videos, content, and some websites also given to know more about the scheme, to apply for the scheme if any government or institute want to apply for this particular scheme, or to understand the eligibility criteria, or whether the government fits into the criteria or not. You can visit some of the websites also I have given. You can visit on the first website, you can see this central government website it is, and the second is Maharashtra government website it is. So you can visit these websites and you can know more about the things. Some videos, those you will, I am sure you will find very inspirational to work on this particular issue and to understand this issue to the core. I hope I try to explain this very scheme of this this campaign launched by central government. To my knowledge, I try to take every point, I try to make it inclusive also. But still, if you find that as this is online seminar and we are not we are not able to communicate directly, but if still you have any problem or any doubt, you can write mail to me on this email address. I will be happy to answer some of your all of your questions rather, and I will be happy to discuss on this particular issue, and I will be happy to learn from you also if somewhere I went wrong, if I made some mistake, if I wrongly put some point, and all things. Okay, so this is this email address you can write to me, and I will be happy to communicate with you. So I feel that now the time to thank you everyone that you patiently go through this video and listen to me, and thank you so much for your cooperation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to participant, to organizer of this 125th orientation. I am very grateful to the director of HRDC, Dr. Bamu, Dr. Bandela sir. I am very thankful to Dr. Rafe sir also providing such a nice opportunity to learn the scheme first and to provide seminar on this particular issue. I am helpful to all the technical assistants also, Gaurav and Anil. I guess I'm not wrong. I'm thankful to Gaurav also providing all the hospitality kind of thing when we were in the HRDC, Babu. And I'm thankful to all the participants also to tolerating the person like me who always keep on asking, and sometimes you may find that I'm disturbing, but I honestly, believe me, there is no intent of doing all these things. I just feel that if I'm I'm sacrificing my 3 hours or 6 hours of my day, something I should take away from that session. So naturally some questions come to my mind, and always I think about the immediate environment like my society where I am, the neighborhood places or the area I living into, and the college or the workplace where I'm teaching. So I'm very sorry for that, but I should not be sorry. But if I hurt someone that way, I'm very sorry for that. So thank you so much everyone once again, and thank you.